Okay, welcome back. I think I'm a little bit more organized this time. Um, what I want to look into right now is over here. We last time we looked at the defined statement, which told us that we were basically. I'm going to say that the defined statement means we want to interface with a piece of hardware as a constant. It's going to define a constant, but we use it in the case that we want to interface with a piece of hardware like a pin or something. Okay, now we're, we're going to look at the include statement now, which is used to include libraries in the sketch, libraries from the outside. So this gives the programmer access to a large group of standard C libraries. So we had a reference to C++, we had a reference to standard C, groups of pre-made functions, and also libraries written especially for Arduino. So I'm not exactly sure what language we are working with right now, but I know it's somehow related to C and C++. The main reference page for AVRC libraries. AVR is the reference to the Atmel chips on which the Arduino is based. AVRC libraries. That reference is right here. Let's open that link in a new tab and see AVRC. Oh, ooh. That's interesting. This is literally like, huh. Well, we'll come back to that later on, you know. Maybe if we start looking into that kind of stuff, we'll come back to it. That's good to know. The main reference page is there. And so you see, like, they sell chips, right? And they also, here's a list of all of their modules. Allocate space in the stack. That's a programming reference. Diagnostics, character operations, ctype.h, error, no, system errors, int types, integer type conversions, math.h, mathematics, standard integer types. Okay, .h, all these .h's. And we've seen these .h's set up like that before with the angle brackets. That's good to know. Library file.h, that's this style that they're talking about right here. When the angle brackets is used, when the angle brackets is used, the library's path will be searched for the file. So it'll search for like the path, the when you search for it like that, it'll search the path of the library. When the double quotes is used, it looks in the folder in which everything is running. So a case for that would be like, you make this window go away, and let's say my home folder, Arduino here. This IDE is being run from this folder, right? Like this is where I'm opening this IDE that's running. It's opening from this folder right here. So, see when I opened up new sketches and stuff, it runs them from this folder, but it's going to run them from, somewhere along this path. And Crunchy, are you done? Gosh, I'm trying to record my cat's taking a dump. Um, so what was I talking about before we got sidetracked with cat mess? Anyway, we're going back up to. So that's what we care about. We care about when the angle brackets is used, the searching library paths will be searched for the file. So it'll say like Oh, like when we use that other .h file and we it just did it all automatically. The file.h is going to search in the folder, double the folder of the file using the include statement. Okay, so to be specific, um, let's go back to this a minute ago. I was getting a little bit confused, but let's just say I'm running this sketch right here, control the fan, right? And this 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 sketch right here, if I were to open it and run it, it would try and find, it would try and, the IDE would look in this folder along with this, you know, it would look in this control the fan folder if we had that in quotes. But as another example, let's see if this works to open that again. Let's see here. Let me check this out. All right, so home folder again. Okay. Whereas in the other times where we used it, you know, we had to look into Key Studio, Arduino, those code drivers libraries. There's a library we need, and you know, we had the buzzer.esp32zip. That's what we need. So it would look in that whole path, right? It would look in that whole path when you put those brackets around. It's telling us to look in that path, not the folder that we're running it from. So that's what that means. It's good to spend a little bit of time on things like that. Okay, so anyway, example code, include a servo library. So we've done that before. We've seen that include statement, and that's a servo library. And then we created a servo and we named it my servo. We've done all this. Okay. And then we have our void, and we have our my servo and a method under the servo class, attach. Attaches the servo to pin 9. Yeah. Okay, and then we have our void loop. And so, okay. Anything else to say about that? Define semicolon. That's most of the important stuff about the include statement. So the include statement tells us that we're going after some libraries. So define statement tells us we want to we want to connect to a hardware as a constant there. And the include statement says we're looking for some external libraries. So what do we want to explore next? Back in the language reference. How about, let's go back here. See if there's anything else I want to try out. You know what? Next time we'll just we'll do some freestyle code, and we'll do that. All right, that's enough for now.